let's review. For the final center 3C. And question number 1, the question is simplify the complex fraction x over 30x, 36 minus 1 over x over 1 plus 6 over x. So this question is from section 4.4. I just want to write the section just for your reference. So it's a 4.4. As we learned, the idea here is we have to clear the fraction. And the fractions we have 36, x, and 1, and x. The way how to clear this one with the least common denominator. So we multiply the numerator by 36x, and the denominator with the 36x as well. Now when we use the distribution law and multiplying the 36x times x over 36, the 36 with the 36 will cancel, and we will end up with x squared. And now 36x times negative 1 over x, the x will cancel, and we will have negative 36 in the numerator. The same thing for the denominator, 36x times 1 will be 36x, plus, if we multiply the x with the 36x with the 6 over x, the x will cancel, and in this case we will have 36 times 6. And that is, sometimes it's better to leave it as a multiplication. That would be a hint for you to factor it out. So you can simplify it if you like to, or you can leave it like that. Now, we notice the numerator is the difference between perfect square, right? Perfect squares, x squared and 36. And as we learned, this one will be equals to x minus 6 x plus 6. Now the denominator, we have 36 is in common, so we can factor it out, and we will have left x plus 6. As you can see that x plus 6 with the x plus 6 can be cancelled, and your final answer should be x minus 6 over 36. And that would be, solution would be B, part B. Is this clear? Any questions? Okay. Now, question number 2, use the square root method to solve the equation. And this one is from section 6.2. So this is from section 6.2. As we learned, the way how to do this is by adding the square roots for both sides, and make sure you put the plus and minus in front of the right-hand side, or the plus or minus square root of 25. And when the exponent is the same as the index, we know they will be cancelled, so the answer will be 2x plus 3 for the left-hand side equals to plus or minus 5. Okay, so the way how to solve the 2x plus 3 squared equals 25, you add a square root to both sides, and you make sure you have a plus and minus ahead of the square of the 25. Now, when you simplify it, we learned that if the exponent is the same as the index, the radical gets cancelled. That would be 2x plus 3. And the square root of 25 would be 5. And there's a plus or minus 5. So we take one time the positive case. So case number 1 would be 2x plus 3 equals 5. If we subtract 3 from both sides, we get 2x equals to 2, and we divide over 2, we get x equals 1. So this is the first one. Now, if we like to take the negative case, will be 2x plus 3 equals to negative 5. And the skills we learned in chapter 1, we can subtract the 3 here from both sides. Then you get the 2x equals to negative 8. Divide over 2, divide over 2, x is equals to negative 4. Yes?
Once you have the plus and minus sign, you have to do both sides. You have to solve both.
Yes. So the question was, once we have a plus and minus, then we have to solve 2 cases, and the answer is yes. You take one case with a positive and one case with a negative. You guys have any question? And that would be, for question number 2, that would be the answer is B. Solution would be B. Okay. Question number 3, solve the rational equation 4 over t plus 3 equals to 2 over t minus 3. And this is from section 4.5. Now, we know that the least common denominator for this case will be the multiplication of both denominators, b plus 3 times t minus 3. And we multiply both sides with the least common denominator. So we get 4 over t plus 3 equals to 2 over t minus 3. And we multiply both sides with the t plus 3 times t minus 3. If we apply the distribution rule here, with the first one, when we do the multiplication, t plus 3 with the t plus 3 gets cancelled, and we only have 4 times t minus 3 for the left-hand side. Then we put equal sign. When we multiply the right-hand side, the t minus 3 gets cancelled, and we will have 2 times t plus 3. And now we have to expand the expression, which looks like, again, the 4 needs to go by using the distribution law, which is 4p minus 12 equals to 2p plus 6. We have to combine like terms. When we do combine like terms, that means the 2p must go to the left-hand side, and the negative 12 must go to the right-hand side. So you get 4p minus 2p will be 2p equals to 6 plus 12 will be 18. And now if we divide over 2, you get p equals to 9. And that would be A for that question. Is this clear? Any questions? Okay. Okay. So the next question, we have to factor x squared plus 6x minus 16, and this is from section 3.5. We know this is a trinomial with a equals to 1. So the way how to solve this, we factor out the negative 16. That would be scratch side as we learned. That would be negative 16. And we figure out all the factors with negative 16. That the multiplication is negative 16 and the addition is 6. And clearly you can think of, so there is a times negative 2, negative 8 times 2, 4 times negative 4, and 1 times negative 16, or negative 1 times 16. Those are the factors of negative 16. It's very clear that the first one add up to 6, which is B, the middle side. So in that case, that would be x plus 8 times x minus 2. X plus 8 times x minus 2. And that's the solution for that will be part B. Can you go forward? Okay. Number 5, we have to factor 25x squared plus 70x plus 13 equals to 0. And this is from, it's actually from basically we combine two sections, which is 3.5 and 6.1. 3.6 is how you factor a trinomial with a not equal to 1. 6.1 is how to solve the equation equals to 0. So here it's very clear it's a trinomial with a not equal to 1. And the way how we work this, by multiplying a and c. 13 times 25. So we're going to do here 13 times 25, and that is equals to 325. And now we have to look for factors of the 325 that will add up to a 70. I will add up to 70. And those factors are uh, 5 and 65. 5 and 65. So the way how to figure out those numbers will be 325. It's very clear that 13 is a factor, right? So it's basically, it's a prime. So we can say it's a 13 times 25. Those are the factors, or negative 13 times negative 25. Or if you factor out this is for 5, you get 65 times 5, or negative 65 times negative 5. And of course, there's one more factor, which is 1 times 325. It's very clear that those are added to 70, which is B, and which means we have to expand now the equation to 25x squared plus 5x plus 65x plus 13 equals to 0. So we expand the trinomials, we come in 4 terms, and now we have to do the grouping method for the first two and the last two. The first two is very clear, the common factor is 5x, and we have left 5x plus 1. And for the second half, if we factor out 13, we get 5x plus 1 as well, equals to 0. Now we know that the 5x plus 1 is a common factor, so we can factor it out. And we have left 5x plus 13 equals to 0. two numbers, their multiplication is 0, means the first one equals to 0. And from here, we get, if we move the one to the other side, 5x equals to -1. Then if we divide it over 5, you get x equals to -1 over 5. So that will be the first one. Now we have to take the second term, which is 5x plus 13 equals to 0. If we move the 13 to the other side, you get 5x equals to -13. Divide over 5, you get x equals to -13 over 5. And that would be my second solution. And that would be part C.
Are we on the last one? Are we substitute? We're not substituting. We did the first parentheses and then the second parentheses.
Yes.
And that's how we found the -13.
Yes. So her question was, how did we come from the last step 5x plus 1 equals to 0 from the previous one? We look at the two parentheses here. Look at them as numbers. Two numbers, their multiplication is 0. That means either the first one is 0 or the second one is 0. And we take the first one equals to 0 and the second one equals to 0. We solve it as a numeric equation. Okay, next question. By factoring, we have to solve by factoring 4x squared minus 44 equals to 0. The first step is all the time to check if there is any common factor. We can't tell there is a 4 here as a common factor. So if we take out the 4, we get x squared minus 11 equals to 0. And again, it's like the previous one. There's two numbers, the multiplication is 0. So if the first one is 4, that means the second one must be 0. Is this clear? The second one must be 0, which means here will be x squared minus 11 equals to 0. If we move the 11 to the other side, you get x squared equals to 11. And the way how to solve this, it will be x equals to plus or minus a square root of 11. And that is part B. And again, I forgot to mention this is from section 6.1. That will be the final answer. Okay, so next one. A painter can finish painting a house in 7 hours. Her assistant takes 9 hours to finish the same job. How long would it take them to complete the job if they were working together? And this is from section 4.5. Section 4.5. So if the first one takes 7 hours, that means it's 1 over 7 plus 1 over 9 is equals to 1 over t. We have a fractions here. To clear out the fraction with the least common denominator, the denominators I have are 7, 9, and t. It's very clear that the least common denominator is 63t. So now when we multiply the 63t, we have to use the distribution law, and 63t times 1 will be 63t over 7 plus 63t over 9 equals to 63t over t. Let's do simplifying. So we keep going. 63 over 7 will be 9t plus 63 over 9 will be 7t equals to t with the t cancels, then we get 63. And now we have to combine like terms. 9t plus 7t will be 16t equals to 63. You divide over 16, divide over 16. From here we get that is t equals to 63/16. And if you use your calculator for that, (63 divided by 16) will be 3.9375. Hours. Now to ask you to round your answer to the nearest tenth, which means 3.9 hours. 3.9 hours. Which is part B, the question. Okay. Question number 8, subtract the expression y minus 2 over y minus 1 minus y minus 2 over y plus 3. And this is from section 4.3. We should ask ourselves what's the least common denominator. Least common denominator. It's very clear that the least common denominator here is y minus 1 times y plus 3. So to make the denominator here to be, looks like y minus 1 times y plus 3 is missing y plus 3. So you multiply y plus 3, and here y plus 3 for the denominator, minus the second one is missing y minus 1, y minus 2 times y minus 1 over y plus 3 times y minus 1. Now we have to use the FOIL method. We have multiplication. Y times y will be y squared. y times negative 2 will be negative 2y. 3 times y will be positive 3y. 3 times negative 2 will be minus 6. Now be careful with this negative. This negative is not going to everything inside. So I'm going to have parentheses here. Y times y will be y squared. Y times negative y will be negative y. Negative 2 times y will be negative 2y plus 2. Over my denominator, which is y plus 3 times y minus 1. Now, I would like, because not a lot of space left, I will enter the negative inside and combine at the same time. I don't have a lot of space. So, y squared minus y squared will cancel out, right? Negative 2y plus 3y will be 1y. And here we have negative 3y. 1y minus 3y will be positive 4y. Does it make sense?
We'll distribute in the
You know what, maybe I can do it actually in the top. All right, so let me expand it here. What do you get?
Erase the top section.
Yeah. So that would be y squared plus y. If I combine negative 2y plus 3y will be plus y minus 6. Now this minus needs to go inside. It will be negative y squared, negative y, negative 2y, negative 3y, and then the negative will be positive 3y, and negative 2 over the same denominator, which is y plus 3 times y minus 1. So I'm going to erase the top half so I can leave the second step here. And I'm going to continue. If I combine, so I'm continuing from here now. If I combine like terms, it will be y squared with the minus y squared will get cancelled. Plus y plus 3y will be 4y. Negative 6, negative 2 will be negative 8. Over y plus 3 times y minus 1. You can keep it like this, or you notice there's a 4 is the common factor in the numerator, so we can take it outside and it gives y minus 2 over y plus 3 times y minus 1. And that will be part A. So. Is this there? Can go forward? Okay. So we have to write the equation that are connecting the 2 points, negative 2 and negative 15 and 6 and 9. And this is from section 1.3. And all of us know we have to use the formula, the point slope formula, which is y minus y1 equals to m y1 equals to m times x minus x1. This is the formula that we need to use. We have y1 and x1, but we don't have m, so we have to use the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, this one will be x1, y1, x2, y2. So if we plug it, we will have 9 minus 15 over 6 minus 2. And this minus will becomes to positive. 9 plus 15 will be 24 over 8, which is 3. So my slope is 3. You can pick any point you like to use, either the first one or the second one. I'm going to use 6 and 9. Looks easier. So I'm just plug it in this formula. So you get y minus 9 equals to 3, which is the slope, x minus x1, which is 6. Now, that 3 can be expanded by using the distribution law. You get 3x minus 18. If you add 9 to both sides, you will end up with y equals to 3x minus 9. And that will be your final answer, which is part B. Yes, I'm going to answer any questions today. Okay, go next. We have to solve the radical equation. Square root of 2x plus 3 minus square root of x plus 1 equals to 1. And this is from 5.5. Section 5.5. So, the way how to do this, we have to isolate at least one radical, and that will happen by moving this one to the right-hand side. You get a square root of 2x plus 3 equals to 1 plus square root of x plus 1. And to get rid of the radicals, we have to square both sides. Since the exponent, same as the index, that will be cancelled, then you get a 2x plus 3 to the left-hand side. And the right-hand side, since it's a square, we can express that by multiplying the term by itself twice. Yes.
Where did the 1 plus come from?
I move this radical near square root of x plus 1 to the right-hand side.
Oh, okay.
So the question was where the square root of x plus 1 came from, on the right-hand side, and the answer is I moved it from left-hand side to the right-hand side. The negative becomes positive. Now, if we use the FOIL method, we get the 2x plus 3. We use the FOIL method for the right-hand side. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times the square root of x plus 1, you get square root of x plus 1. And again, square root of x plus 1 for the second one. And will be a square root of x plus 1 times the square root of x plus 1. And now let's simplify. We get 2x plus 3 for the left-hand side, 1. A square root of x plus 1 with the square root of x plus 1, they look like terms, we can add them up. You get x plus 1. And the last term, since it's a square root times the square root, that means the radical will cancel and the answer will be x plus 1, just the value under the radical. Now I have one radical, and the way how to solve this by isolating the radical. So I need to move the 1 to this left-hand side, and the x, and also the 1 to the left-hand side. So what do we have? 2x minus x will end up with x, and the right-hand side have 1 here and 1 here, that will be 2. When I move it to the other side, it will be 3 minus 2, which is 1, so that will be positive 1, equals to square root 2 times the square root of x plus 1. Now, to get rid of that radical, I have to square both sides again. If we multiply here again the x plus 1 by x plus 1 squared twice, you will end up with x squared plus 2x plus 1. And in the right-hand side, if you square the 2, you will have 4 times x plus 1. Going to raise the top half. So now we need to combine like terms. You will end up, so I'm going here to the top. You will have x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals to 4x plus 4. And if I combine like terms by moving this one here and this one here also, you get x squared plus 2x minus 4x plus 1 minus 4 equals to 0. Combine like terms, we get x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals to 0. So this one would become to x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals to 0. Line here to separate the previous one. And now, all of us know this is a trinomial with the a equals 1. We need to find factors of negative 3 that add up to negative 2. It's very clear that is x minus 3 and x plus 1 equals to 0. You guys know where this one came from? And again, will give us either the first one 0, therefore x equals to 3, or the second one is 0, therefore x is equals to -1. And that will be part C for that exercise. You guys have any question? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. We have to find the domain of the rational function 2x minus 3 over x squared minus 9. As we agreed before, we said we have to avoid all values making the denominator 0 to have the domain. So we have to set the denominator equals to 0, and this is very easy, the difference between squares. That would be look like x minus 3 times x plus 3 equals to 0. So the first one equals to 0 will lead us to x equals to 3, or the second part equals to 0, which gives us x equals to -3. So those values make the denominator 0, and denominator 0 is not acceptable there. So we have to say that the answer will be it's x, whereas x cannot be 3 or -3. That will be your answer, which is part A, and this is from section 4.1. Of course, this is a separate issue here. We said we did not cover the square root for the shifting, so I'm going to make that function to be y equals to x squared, right? 9 units to the left, that means it's x minus 9. Oh, sorry, it's x plus 9 squared. That would be y equals. Yeah. X plus 9. Did I say minus or what? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, you can. Yeah. So, I mean, I just want to confirm here, if we have x minus a squared, that means shifting to the right. If you have x plus a squared, that means you go to the left. If you have x squared plus a, that means you're going upward. And x squared minus a, you're going downward with the a unit. Now, long division, we have to do long division, and this is section 3.4. As we agreed, we have to make sure they are in order first. So you get x squared plus 12x plus 32 over x plus 4. We take the first one over the first one. That would be x squared over x, which is x, Then we do the multiplication here. X times x will be x squared. X times 4 will be positive 4x. We grab the line and we change the sign. What happened now? X squared with the x squared cancel. 2x minus 4x will be negative 2x plus 32. Is it 12? Yep, you're right, it's 12. So that would be 12 minus 4 would be 8. And the 32 will go down. Now again, we take 8x over x will be positive 8. We multiply 8 with the x will be 8x. 8 times positive 4 will be positive 32. We grab the line, we change the sign, and here we notice that both of them cancel, and my remainder is 0. So your answer will be for that is x plus 8. And that is part C. Okay, next question. Using elimination to solve the system, and this is section 2.3. If you like to review it in your book. We have an option to eliminate x or y. Since y has a coefficient 1 in the first equation, it's easier for us to eliminate y. So to eliminate y, we would like to multiply the first equation by negative 2. So we get negative 2 with the y plus 2, y will cancel out. So let's see how the system will look now. We get negative 4x for the first one, negative 2y equals to negative 2 times negative 9 will be positive 18. The second equation will stay as is. We does not do anything with it. Plus 2y equals to negative 12. And now if we add the two equations, we notice that negative 2y with the 2y cancel. Then negative 4x plus 3x, we will have negative x. 18 minus 12 will be 6. If you divide over negative 1 to cancel out the negative, you get x equals to negative 6. We found x so far, we still need to find y. We plus x equals negative 6, either in the first equation or the second equation. So if we use the first equation, which is 2x plus y equals to negative 9, by multiplying the negative 6, you will have negative 12 plus y equals to negative 9. If we move the negative 12 to this side, it will be positive 12. Therefore, y equals to 12 minus 9, which is a 3. So the solution will be the pair, which is negative upon negative 6, 3. And this is part A. We use the first equation. The 2x plus y equals negative 9. This is the first equation. So when you plug negative 6, 2 times negative 6 will be negative 12. one. We have to factor this polynomial completely. We notice this polynomial is the difference between perfect cubes, because x cubed is a perfect cube of x, and 216 is a perfect cube of 6. So that will be 6 cubed. As we learned in section 3.6, the formula that we need to use is a cubed minus b cubed equals to a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b. In this case, my a will be x and my b will be 6. B squared, yes.
Yes,
Yep, thank you. I said it, that's right. So my a will be x and b will be 6. So if we plug it there, we get x cubed minus 6 cubed will be x minus 6. A squared will be x squared. A times b will be 6 times x, which is positive 6x. And b squared, my b is 6, so my b squared will be 36. And that will be part A in that question. Got it? So next question. 4x plus 9 less than or equal negative 28, or 4x plus 9 greater or equal 28, and that, we know this is the compound inequality.
It's different from the written question.
okay.
That actually is the correct one.
So you have to,
Oh, we have to, okay.
yep, you have to fix that question. So question number 16. So we have a compound inequality. The first one, we have to solve the first one separately. That will be 4x plus 9 is then equal to negative 28. If we subtract 9 from both sides, and subtracting will not change the inequality, then we get a 4x less than or equal negative 28 minus 9, that would be negative 37. Then we divide over 4. Dividing over positive number will not change the inequality too. So we get x less than or equal to negative 37 over 4. So this is the first one. We make sure don't forget the word or. And the second one is 4x plus 9 greater or equal to 28. The same thing, we subtract 9. Then you get 4x greater or equal than 18. Divide over 4. Divide over 4. X greater or equal than 18 over 4.
Isn't it 19?
You're right, 19. Sorry. So it's 19. Yeah, 28 minus 19 will be 19. Will be 19 over 4. So your final answer should be x less than or equal negative 37 over 4, or x greater or equal 19 over 4. Next question. We need to find the equation for the line with the given property passing through the point 3 and 1 and perpendicular to y equals negative 2x plus 1. We have to know that the formula used for this is the slope form, which is y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. The key word here is perpendicular. So since the slope for the perpendicular line is negative 2, how much would be my slope? Would be negative reciprocal, right? Since it's perpendicular. So my m, it will be 1/2. The slope for this line will be 1/2, which is the negative reciprocal of the perpendicular line. Here the slope is negative 2. Negative reciprocal of negative 2 will be 1/2. Yes. You flip the negative 2 will be 1/2. You change the sign, it comes to positive 1/2. Now that's what I need. I have a slope and I have a point. We need to plug it in the formula. And this one will be my x1. This one will be my y1. So you have y minus 1 equals to 1/2 x minus 3. If we expand the 1/2 into 1/2 inside, we get y minus 1 equals 1/2 x. This 1/2 has to go for both terms. Minus 3 over 2. If you add 1 from both sides to isolate the y, then you will have y equals to 1/2 x. Negative 3, 2 plus 1. The one is basically 2 over 2. So that would be negative 1/2. And that would be part D. So there's no D. 1/2 x minus 1/2. And this is from section 1.3. Next question. University Theater sold 447 tickets for play. Tickets cost $22 per adult and $11 per senior citizen. If total receipts were $6,479, how many senior citizens tickets were sold? So, we have two unknowns. We can let the first one is x, which is number of adult tickets. Go ahead, yes, tickets. Y will be number of senior citizens tickets. So from the first sentence, we have they sold 447 tickets will give us the first equation, which is x plus y equals to 447. Adults is x, and everyone got $22. You will have 22x plus 11y equals the total receipt, which is 6,479. So this is the system of equation. Now they're asking for how many senior citizen tickets. That means they're asking for Y. Is that right? Not the X. They need Y. So the method we learned for to solve a system of equation, either graphically, elimination, or substitution. You can choose anyone you're comfortable with. I will use elimination. Since I need the senior citizens, I need Y, that means I must eliminate X. Or if you decided to eliminate Y, this is fine, but at the end, you have to find X and Y. So now here, if I'm going to eliminate X, I must multiply the first equation with the negative 22. And this will end up with negative 22x, the first one, plus negative 22y equals to 447.
9,834.
9,000, negative 9,834. The second equation will stay as S, plus 11y equals to 6,479. And if I add those equations now, the 22x will cancel. And I will have here negative 11y equals to negative $3,355, and if I divide over negative 11, you will end up with a 305. Y equals to 305. That means there's a 305 tickets sold for senior citizens.
Negative 22y.
So her question, where is the negative 22y came from? When we try to multiply the equation with the negative 22, in the step before that, we have to use the distribution law. This negative 22 has to go here, to here, and also to the third one.
So we never found the amendment. So the negative 22y, can we just combine it with that plus sign? That plus sign?
Which plus sign?
No.
Yes. Yeah, so her question is, where is the negative 11 came from? So plus times negative here, you'll get negative 22y. Negative 22y plus 11y will be negative 11y in the next step. And this is from section 2.3. Okay, next slide. Question number 19. The functions p of x equals to 0.62x squared minus 0.0448x plus 1 models the approximate population p in thousands for species of fish in local pond. X years after 1997, and during what year will be the population reach 31,044 fish? This is from chapter 6. So since X are the years and 31 will be number of fish, we can plug the 31.048 0.044 equals to 0.62x squared minus 0.048x plus 1. The reason I put 31.044 because if you notice it says P is in thousands. So since it's given 31,044, that means it's 31 integers and 0.044 rather than thousands. Does this make sense? Since it says P is in thousands, 5,000 means how much? For example, 5,000 means 5, right? So you must be P5. It says P is 31,044, that means P is 31.044. Is this clear? We are going, this will be in chapter 6. So if I move this one here, you get 0.62x squared minus 0.048x plus 1 minus 31.044 equals to 0. And this is a direct application using your calculator. 0.62x squared minus 0.048x minus 30.044 equals to 0. We have to use the quadratic formula for this. The quadratic formula. Which is x equals to minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This is chapter 6. And this one will be your a. This one with the minus will be your b. This one with the minus will be your c. And if you plug it using your calculator, you should end up with x approximately 7 years. If you plug it, make sure this is a 4, not you. Now, since my x is 7 years, and it says x are years after 1997, what do I have to do here? You add 7 to 1997, and that will become 2. So, since x is after 1997, which means it will be 1997 plus 7, so that will be 2004.
Is that a B2?
B squared. Yes, it's a B squared.
Right after it's -7.
-4.
Negative 4ac. I'm going actually to fix it. Negative 4ac. x. We have to solve the compound inequality. 4x less than 20 and 4x and x plus 4 is greater than 6. The key word here is and. We have to pay attention. Make sure it's and or or. So the first one, to solve this one, will be 4x less than 20, and if you divide over 4, you will end up x less than 5. And make sure you write and. This is very important here. X plus 4 greater than 6. You subtract 4, subtract 4. Then you get x is greater than 2. Now, if I'm going to use the number line, the 2 located before the 5, number 5, x greater than 2, that means it's in parentheses and going up. X less than 5, that means it's also open here and has to go down. It's very clear the intersection area will be this section, which is from 2 to 5, open interval. And that will be part C. And this is from section 8.2. Okay. Question number 21. So we have in the land of tax law, the function t of x is equals to 0.16 times x minus 8,500 plus 700 represents the taxable of t. The taxable t of a single person whose adjusted gross income is x dollars for incomes between 8,500 and 27,400. So how much is the single fuller tax bill if adjusted gross income is 18,400? So let's understand this. Now, what x means, whose adjusted gross income is x. So x will be the income. That's, we have to make sure how to understand that equation. X will be the income, and t, it will be the taxable. So if he giving us the income 18,400, that means this is x. Is that right? So we need to plug t of 18,400, and that is equals to 0.16 times 18,400 minus 8,500 plus 700. And if we use 18,400 minus 8,500, that would be 9,900 times 16.16, that would be 1584 plus 700. And the final answer would be $22.84. And that would be part D. That would be part D. And this is from section 1.1. So this is section 1.1.
which is plugging in.
You just plug the value of x, 18,400. Okay, question number 22. So air shoots an arrow upward into the air at speed of 64 feet per second from a platform that is 18 feet high. The height of the arrow is given by the function. So we have this function, ht is equal to negative 16t squared plus 64t plus 18. Where t is the time in seconds, what is the maximum height of the arrow? And this is from section 6.6. From section 6.6. So it's very clear that the arrow path will be going this way. So it has to start somewhere and it has to go down. That means it's the vertex. And as we learn, the vertex will be negative b over 2a and alpha of negative b over 2a. Where this is my a, this is my b, and this is my c. So what is my, let's find the first one, negative b over 2a is equals to negative 64 over 2 times negative 16, and that is equals negative 64 over negative 32, and very clear this is 2. So the x is 2 for the vertex. I need to find f of 2 now, which is equal to negative 16. I plug 2 in this equation, it will be 2 squared plus 64 times 2 plus 18. And that would be 2 squared would be 4. That would be negative 64 plus 128 plus 18. And when you combine those, it will be 82 feet, which is part C. Okay, next question.
Wait.
Okay, I'm back. Okay. Question 23. When an object is dropped to the ground from a height of h meters, the time it takes for the object to reach the ground is given by the equation t equals to square root of h over 4.9, where t is measured in seconds. If an object falls 19.6 meters before it hits the ground, find the time it took for the object to fall. So when we think t equals to a square root of h over 4.9, h is the height and t is the time, and they're still giving us the height is 19.6. So the only thing that you need to do here, just plug 19.6 for h. and that will give you the times t. Using your calculator, you put the square root, and 3.6 divided by 4.9 square root, the answer will be 2. T is equals 2 seconds, which is part C. Answer will be C. Yes.
On the calculator, it gives us a decimal, so just, if it doesn't say for round or anything like that, just,
It did not give me decimal.
no.
No. Make sure you use the parentheses when you plug these numbers. Yeah. Next question. 6.5.
Number 22.
23 was
How do you say it?
okay. The first question 23 was from 5.1. Now, f of x is equals to x squared minus 2x minus 8. We have to use the graph, pick which one is the graph for that function. This is from section 4.5, 6.5. Now, the way how we should look at these questions, first of all, we need to consider the sign of x squared. X squared is positive, that means it's going upward. So, that means we must eliminate this. This is not an answer, not a good answer. And we only have 3 left. Let's have a process of elimination. Now, let's figure out the vertex first. The vertex here, if we follow the formula, the vertex is negative b over 2a, where a here is 1, b is negative 2, and c is negative 8. And the vertex will be negative b over 2a over f of negative b over 2a. So, negative b, that will be negative 2 over 2 times 1. And if I simplify that, will be f of 2. That will be negative 2 will be positive 2, and over 2 will be f of 1. So it will be 1 and f of 1. If we plug the 1 in the equation, you get 1 squared minus 2 times 1 will be negative 1, negative 8, negative 9. So the vertex will be 1 and negative 9. If we check the graphs, we notice there is part B has 1 and negative 9 as a vertex. So here the answer will be B. The correct answer will be B. And again, it's from section 6.5. have to multiply and write the answer in scientific notation. This is from section 5.2. And as we agreed before, if we do multiplication, we have to multiply the number and 10 to the power negative 6 times 10 to the power negative 8. And that will be, if we do 6.64 times 6.11, the answer will be 40.5704 times 10. We have negative 2 plus negative 6 will be negative 8. I need to move the decimal on one side to the left. That means I have to add the powers by 1. So you will end up with a 4.05704 times 10 to the power of negative 7. Since you asked to be, the closest one would be that part B, which is approximately 4.06 times 10 to the power of negative 7. Which is part of D. Yes. So the question was, explain the question again. When we do multiplication, we can multiply 10 to the power of negative 6 times 10 to the power of negative 2. And we know the powers has to be added, right? Negative 2 plus negative 6 will be negative 8. Now, 6.64 times 6.11, using your calculator, we got 40.5704. Scientific notation, we have to be, gonna look that decimal has to go to the left one decimal area, right? Going to the left, if you remember, that means we have to add the power by 1. If you're going to the left one area, that means you have to add the power by 1. If you're going to the right, you subtract the exponents by 1, or the power by 1. Since I'm going to the left, then this exponent has to be added by 1, and this will be negative 7.
Oh, positive 1.
Positive 1. Yes, positive 1. If you do positive 1 here, it becomes a negative 7. And we did some rounding here.
With scientific notation, since you have 3 significant figures, your answer should only have 3 figures. That's the choice for the rounding.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Yeah. What he said, since the given will be with the 3 figures, 6.11, there's a 3. So we have to use the answer to look at the same standard. It will be 4.06. Yeah, 3 figures, yes.
Okay. So, with the 10, right? Why did this 10 take?
Because you treat the 10 like an x. Remember, x to the power negative 6 times x to the power negative 2, you add the powers. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Next question, 26. We have to solve this system by substitution, and this is from section 2.4. Since we have to use substitution, it's very clear that it's easy. The easiest one to solve for is equation number 1, and we have to solve it for x, because it has a coefficient 1. So if we start from x minus 5y equals to negative 13, and if we add 5y to both sides, you will end up with the x equals to 5y minus 13. And we're going to substitute in the second equation. What do we have in the second equation? So the second equation is 4x minus 6y equals to negative 10. We multiply that x, which is 5y minus 13 minus 6y equals to negative 10. If we expand the 4 using distribution, would be expand the 4 times 5y would be 20y minus 52. Sorry about that. I think it's my hand. So that would be 20y minus 52 minus 6y equals to negative 10. So if I combine my terms now, 20y minus 6y will be 14y minus 52 equals to negative 10. If you add 52 to both sides to isolate the y, we get 14y equals to 42 divided over 14, divided over 14, and y is equals to 3. We found y, we still need to find what's missing here? X. We have to find x. We can use either equation number 1 or equation number 2 or the one we worked on, which is number 3. The easiest one is to find number 3. Yes.
Let's say, for example, like, you didn't know how to flow that. You could just like.
Yes. Yeah. So his question was if he doesn't know how to do substitution.
I'm just like, I know how to flow that.
Yeah, you can, yes, you can use other methods if you like to. Yeah, if you feel comfortable. This is a multiple choice question. So if y is equals to 3, I'm going to plug in x equals to 5y minus 13. We're going to plug y, which is 5 times 3 minus 13. And that would be 15. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 minus 13 would be 2. So your solution would be 2 and 3. And that is part B. Part B. Okay. The next question, we have to use the quadratic formula, and that is 6.4, section 6.4. To use the quadratic formula, we have to make sure that it's in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. We notice now, we notice the given equation is not in that form, so we have to move the right hand side to the left hand side, will be 12x squared plus 144x plus 276 equals to 0. So what is mine? This is my A. This is my A. This is my B. And this is my C. And the quadratic formula is x equals to negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This is the quadratic formula.
And you could also always check whether you can divide through to make the equation simpler. All those numbers do divide by 12.
Yes. So what he said, we can here factor out the 12 from all 5. You can, but even though if you forgot, you still can do it using the that formula. So yeah, what will be easier if you factor out? We have to use that formula. When I ask you to use the quadratic formula, yes. So we keep going as or we can factor out as well, but we can keep going. If we get negative 144 plus or minus, b squared will be 144 squared minus 4, and my a is 12, and my c is 276. And a, 2a, which is 2 times 12. And as you guys will learn how to use your calculator to plug those, you will end up with 144 squared minus 4 times 12 times 276, the square root.
It should be C on your answer sheet.
That would be, you get the first x will be negative 6 minus square root of 13, and the second one will be negative 6 plus square root of 13, which is C. That's 27. Question number 28, and this is from section 5.1. We have to simplify this expression. Since I have the 1/3, I would like to write each term inside the parentheses as a power of 3. All of us know that 27 is basically 3 to the power of 3, a to the power of 3. B to the power of negative 6 is basically b to the power of negative 3 times b to the power of negative 3. Or actually, we can, if you don't like to see the negative, we can change the exponents from negative to become positive by put it in the denominator, or the denominator to become the numerator. So here you will have a b to the power of 6, and in the top you will have a to the power of 3, and here you will have also b to the power of 6. You guys see what I did here? So since the b to the power of negative 6, if it's going by, it becomes positive 6. That's where the first one came from. And this one already exists, so you have a b to the power of 6 twice. A to the power of negative 3, to make the exponent positive, goes to the top, will be a to the power positive 3. And we also have a to the power of 3, and 27 will be 3 to the power 3. And we can do one more to write the b to the power 6 by a to the power 3, 3 to the power 3, a to the power 3, over b to the power 3, b to the power 3, b to the power 3, b to the power 3. Now, whenever the exponent is the same as, we do multiplication, right? And that will remind you with the cubic root, basically. So every a cubed with the power 1/3, it will become 2a. And we also, that 1/3 can be distributed. So basically, we can look at it as 3 to the power 3 to the power 1/3, a to the power 3 to the power 1/3, a to the power 3 1/3 over t. There's more than one way to do it. I mean, there's not a specific way to do it. You can do the 1/3 immediately from the 6 here. But I was hoping to have you make connections between this and the cubic root that I was hoping for you to do. So here we do multiplication. 3 times 1/3 will be 1, 3 to the power 1. And here will be a. And the second one will be a. And here we will have b. B to the power 3 will be another b. And this one becomes 2b and b. And the final answer will be 3a squared over b to the power 4. That's one way to do it, which is solution will be A. I will do a second solution in different color if you like to use it.
Red.
I will do it in different color if you like to. Sorry about that. I'll do it in this section here. That should be enough to solve it. If I only write the positive and the negative to become positive, you have 3 to the power 3, a to the power 3, and a to the power 3 over b to the power 6 times b to the power 6. And this becomes to 3 to the power 3, a to the power 6 over b to the power 12, if we add the powers. Right? And everything is under the raised to the exponent 1/3. So that will be 3. It's basically the same thing. A to the power 6 with the 1/3 over b to the power 12 with the 1/3. And here we know multiplication. 1/3 times 3 will be 1, so that will be 3. 1/3 times 6 will be 2, so that will be a squared. 1/3 times 12 will be 4, which means b to the power 4. It's almost the same thing.
Which is easy. According to you.
I mean, the reason I wrote it in green is not because it's easier. I just want to have a connection between the 1/3 and the cubic root when we used to write, like the third power, multiple space, so we can take it outside the radical. And 1/3, we all of us know that 1/3 is basically cubic root. Go forward. Okay. Find the vertex, and this is from section 6.6. Again, the vertex will be, we have to find first negative b over 2a, and a is 1, b is 2, c is negative 3. So that will be negative 2 over 2 times 1, which is negative 1. And now we need to find f of negative 1, which is equal to negative 1 squared plus 2 times negative 1 minus 3. And that is equals to 1 minus 2 minus 3. And that will be minus 4. So the vertex will be negative 1 and negative 4. And that is part C in the question. D, yes. Yeah, part D. Now the last question. The last question is find the domain, and this is from section 1.5. And all of us know that the domain of the radical function that makes everything to be positive under the radical. So we have to make sure that everything under the radical will be positive. And we need to solve that equation. So you subtract x from both sides. You get negative 5x greater or equal than negative 6. Then we have to divide by negative 5. And here be aware, when we divide by negative, we must switch the inequality. So that will be x will be 6 over 5. And that will be your answer. If you like to have it in interval notation, this is your number 1. 6 over 5 is basically here. Less than or equal, that would be a bracket with everything below it. So an interval notation would be negative infinity to 6 over 5, bracket and open. And that would be C.